Hey, divisional round, Giants fans, here you come. Welcome once again to a Giant issue. I am Coach Gene Clemens. I just want to start by saying congratulations to all those Giants fans who have been 10 toes down with the Big Blue ever since the beginning. The ones who have suffered through but still held out hope that a new regime could get things going in the right direction. And it's a great thing to see loyalty be rewarded. I also think, right, that as we move forward or as we go through this week, it's okay to just enjoy it. It's okay to just enjoy the ride. I think so many times we as fans, and I'm not just talking about like Giants fans, or I'm talking about fans everywhere, right? We get so caught up in let me beat my chest because like we were right or we were back or we proved everybody wrong. But right, I was here at the beginning of the year. There was not a lot of hope. For a playoff run this year. It wasn't until we were 5 to 6 games in that Giants fans came around on the idea of this team being a playoff team. And then a couple more wins after the bye week, they started losing. Clearly, that happens. You start playing competition that knows you a little bit better, that has had an opportunity to see what you can do, they may have better talent than you in some places. Now you're not fooling anybody. You're not scaring anybody. But they held it together well enough to make the playoffs. They had everything happen around them to help them make the playoffs. And so it's a testament to fortitude, right? To perseverance, to continuing to keep the main thing, not individual success, but the team collective. And so now the Giants, who got a favorable matchup, we got to call it what it is. There's a reason why you guys were so excited about this playoff game, because you knew, man, if we just don't turn the ball over, we win this game. If we don't turn the ball over, the 3 times that we turned the ball over in that first Minnesota Vikings game, we win this game. Clearly, this offense figured out something about that Viking defense that everybody else knew, and their quarterback was able to exploit it to the highest level. Shout out to Daniel Jones. First time on the big stage, first time in the playoffs, fantastic game. Does it help that it was with a familiar opponent that he already had a lot of success against? Absolutely. We have to keep things in perspective, though, right? There's no reason to look for the what happens after the postseason is over, because there's a good chance you're going to miss what's happening right here in front of you. You're going to miss the Giants playing for each other. You're going to miss a guy like Kenny Golladay, who could have went directly in the toilet, who has stayed in the boat all season. And on the one time that his number is called to make a play, he gets a pancake block on a play. You got to enjoy a guy like Sterling Shepard. Not Sterling Shepard, excuse me. But you gotta enjoy Sterling Shepard and the leadership that he's given, even without playing. But you have to really feel good for a guy like Darius Slayton, who was ridiculed, mocked, said he shouldn't be in the league, said he should get cut. said the other guys who are not on this team anymore were better suited to be on this team than he was, saying that he couldn't catch, saying that he couldn't, that he was just a speed guy. It's great to watch him prove all of you wrong, right? Because if we're going to give credit to Daniel Jones and say that Daniel Jones was proving people on the outside wrong, because now all of a sudden everybody in New York was all on the Daniel Jones bandwagon, another day. We've got to say, hey, Slayton proved all of you Giants fans wrong. I don't know one Giants fan. I don't know one Giants person who covers. I don't know anybody who said, yo, Slayton's got to be a part of this offense. And in that playoff game, Slayton's ability to get it and stretch the field allowed the other guys to work. The guy that you guys have said is the number one because he gets the most passes thrown to him, right? Richie James. Like, we got to give him credit. But instead of enjoying the positives, the only thing people could focus on was the drop. And yes, he had 2 drops, but one was contested. He was falling. He was being tackled and falling down. They said he didn't have it, but he only lost it when he hit the ground. They didn't call it, down by contact because it's a pass, right? So, and because it was bang, bang. So, okay, he had 2 drops. Somebody tried to claim that the fade ball that was thrown to him in the end zone, where he would have been lucky to get a foot down, let alone 2, was a drop. I said, come on, you're reaching. The drop that he had, the one coming across the middle, the one that the announcers totally overhyped. They acted like he would have scored a touchdown if he caught it, but he would not have. It would have been a great completion. It probably would have ended in a first down, salt the game away. That's big. But you can't forget about the 4 catches for 88 yards. Nobody else on this team gives you that level of explosion. Nobody. Is Slayton a number one? No. I've said it all year. Slayton is a good number 2 and a phenomenal number 3. You can agree with me or not. I don't particularly care, unless you come with legitimate, factual reasoning. Because his statistics as a number 2 have been on par with other good number 2s. Not with other great number 2s on teams that throw the ball all the time, but good number 2s, yeah, his numbers fall right in there. So you got to be happy for him. You got to be happy for him. You got to be happy for Evan Ingram in Jacksonville, who people killed at the beginning of the year. They were going out of their way to look for reports from Jacksonville just to continue to kill him. They called him everything but the child of God. He has had a phenomenal season. He's one of the reasons Jacksonville is still playing. Applause. Hey, what would the Giants look like with a super athletic tight end who can operate in the screen game, down the field, in the intermediate levels? What would they look like with him? I don't know. Right? I don't know. You've got to give love to James Bradberry, because people wanted to justify his release, even though we know his release was based off of money, and the Giants didn't want to pay him the money. Miss me with the can't pay him. They didn't want to pay him the money, because if you want to do something, you make it work, right? They didn't want to pay him the money. They release him super late so that the market dries up for him. He falls into the lap of the Eagles, and he's had a Pro Bowl season. He's had a Pro Bowl season. Pro Bowl caliber season. So you got to give love to him. Man, I really like watching Dalvin Tomlinson out there playing. I wish that guy was still here. The defensive line played phenomenal in this game. Why? Because the defensive coordinator, like I predicted, Coach Wink trusted his front four. It didn't start off that way. He started off trying to bring heat. And the Vikings were murdering them. Guys were wide open. And then he said, hey, let's pull it back. Let's get this front four. Let them operate. We'll rally to the ball. We'll contest passes. We'll send Adoree Jackson, who just came off the IR. We'll send him around to shadow arguably the best wide receiver in the game. And outside of the first couple passes, I think first three, lights out. Lights out. I remember early in the game thinking it was going to be an issue if this was the way they were going to play it. But to Coach Wink and the defensive staff's credit, they switched it up and they got to the game plan that was going to work. They got to the game plan that was going to work. Make Kirk Cousins be patient and meticulously move the ball down the field. Put him in positions to have to make plays in order to get first downs, because we know that Kirk Cousins is a robot when it comes to this. It's very similar to Alex Smith. If the play says check down, it's 3rd and 12, he's checking it down. Why? Doesn't hurt his stats. There's no advanced metrics for him to not attack a first down and put the ball in jeopardy, as opposed to checking it down for the easy pass. Got a little pressure. Defensive line were around his feet. Made him a little nervous. It's a beautiful thing. Kayvon Thibodeaux, I don't know what this man has to do in order to get a holding call. It seemed almost every single game they were holding him. It seemed as though every single game they had it set up for him to get held. And yet there was never a holding call. There was never a time where they called holding. I don't understand how. I don't understand how. I want you guys to feel great about this. I want you to feel great. And I feel great about it. You know why? Because doing content on a team when they're winning and they're alive is so much better than having to do what went wrong. Right? It's so much better than having to do what went wrong. So now we're on to Philadelphia. But I've heard some crazy stuff. Oh, Philadelphia should be afraid of us. What? Why go there? Why not just appreciate that we're here? Hey, listen, we're going to go out there against Philly, and if we play our game, we're going to have an opportunity to win this game. That's all. That's all. Oh, they're not ready for it. What? A division rival's not ready for you? Well, the Cowboys, if we get to whoa. Cowboys got a monument to climb in San Francisco. They're playing some of the best football in the NFL. You know who's playing the second best football in the NFL? Philadelphia. Because when Jalen Hurts is out there, it's different. It's different. It's a whole different ball game. So, Giants fans, appreciate, love what you've done, love what your team has done. You are ahead. That's the best part about this. That's the best part about this situation. The Giants are ahead of schedule. They're playing with house money. And they didn't have to sacrifice anything about the future to make it happen. That is an applause for the coaching staff. That's an applause for the front office. But that's really an applause for these players, because this roster is not much different. You know what they are, though? And I know we like to give coaching all the credit, but let's give these players some credit. They're a year older. They're a year wiser. They're a year more healthy. They understand the game better, right? The nucleus of this team are players who have been around for the last 3 to 4 years. That's the nucleus of this team. That's a great problem to have. Who cares about what's coming on the offseason? I don't want to talk about Saquon's contract anymore. I told you guys I was done with that. I'm going to enjoy Saquon while he's here. Let the offseason take care of itself. I sure as heck don't want to talk about Daniel Jones. Not about anything off the field. Oh, now he's got to get 50. Oh, I don't want to do any of that. I want to enjoy the game within the moment. Stay in the moment. Because some of you are going to be disappointed in the offseason if things don't come out the way you believe they should go. I know for me, I'm going to be disappointed in the offseason if the Giants move on from Saquon Barkley. But there's a possibility that they could move on from Saquon Barkley. I know that I'm going to feel a way if the Giants move on from a guy like Leonard Williams, but there's a chance they could move on from a guy like Leonard Williams, and so on and so forth. I'm going to be really upset if the Giants don't address a middle linebacker, a legitimate middle linebacker in the draft. But there's a chance that the Giants don't, right? There's a chance that they don't. And so why not just enjoy this right now? Why not just enjoy the run? Sit back. Be excited. Be confident. If you're going to Philadelphia, be careful. Be careful. But enjoy it. Stunt, all that thing. But let's not do the nobody believed in us type of stuff and us against the world type of. It's so cliche. It's so old. There was reason to not believe in the Giants at the beginning of the year, and I was around all of you. None of you believed in the Giants early in the year. Matter of fact, I think I might have been one of the only people that said, hey, why can't they be good this year? Why can't they be 500, above 500? Why do they have to? So, just enjoy the opportunity that you have. There's not a lot of people playing football right now. There's only 4 teams playing football in all of football. At any level, there's only 4 teams playing football right now. 8 teams playing football right now. Giants fans, your G-Man is one. G-Man, they're 1 of 8. If you're 1 of 8, you're sitting in a really good position. I look forward to seeing what this offense and this defense does to try to slow down Philadelphia, because it's going to be a test, but it's not one that's impossible. It's not one that is far-fetched. If the Giants play their game, they're going to be in this thing in the end. And if somebody makes a play, they can win it. Simple and plain. I'm looking forward to breaking down the offense. I'm looking forward to breaking down the defense. I'm looking forward to seeing what some keys to victory are. And we'll be right back with you next week to talking about it all. I'm Coach Gene Clemens, and I've got a giant issue. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Coach Gene Clemens Network. Make sure that you follow all of my content written on Giants Country. I will be on the Locked On Giants podcast at some point this week, talking to Patricia Traynor about the Giants and what we should expect going into Philadelphia. Really excited about it. You guys should be really excited about it as well. Until next time, peace. Go Big Blue.